Hey, sweetie. Where's my boy? Alright guys, so it's part 2 of my gay history videos today, and this section is actually going to be about my gay history, my personal gay history, and what I went through before I came out, and for the few early years after I came out, what kind of person I was, how I expressed myself, how the liberation of coming out helped me to be more open and expressive. So I guess where it would all start with, well, I've pretty much always known my entire life that I'm gay. What? What? Yeah. Sucky boy. Alright, so yeah, I've pretty much always known my entire life that I'm gay. Um, from my earliest experiences, from my earliest memories, pretty much always known. Um, where I guess where it really started would have been in high school. I My parents were divorced growing up, so for a few years I lived with my mom, and then I actually moved in with my father for a few years. And in those few years that I grew up with my father, I had actually had posters of Backstreet Boys all over my walls, all hand-drawn posters with hearts around them. And my father's wife at the time actually found my secret diary where I wrote all my secret confessions and everything, and she actually tried to out me one day. And for anybody who's been in that experience, it's absolutely horrible when somebody tries to out you. For that for that reasoning alone, if I know somebody's gay and they're not ready to come out, I don't push them. It's one of those things you have to do at your own time. It's not something somebody can force you to do. There's definitely situations where people have been forced out of the closet, but it's not. I it's somebody's own personal journey, and to do that to somebody else, I think is very harsh and cruel. But for me, when she asked me if I was gay, I of course denied it. I was only 12 at the time, so I wasn't ready to admit to anybody that I was gay, especially her. Halfway through grade 9, I actually moved back home with my mom, and it was then that I started to. I spent a lot more time with my aunt, and I became more open and more accepting of who I was. Still wasn't ready to come out of the closet. All through high school, I would often sit there on the lunch breaks and stare off into space, and everyone thought that I was just always so deep in thought and off my own little world. And in reality, I was actually just checking out the football players across the cafeteria. So there's that. So I had a girlfriend in high school for 3.5 years. Her name was Jen, and really sweet girl. Um, but I didn't want to really invest too much into that relationship because I knew in my heart I was gay, and dating her, it wasn't so much me trying to use her as a beard or use her to hide who I was. I just felt comfortable around her, and I think that's more the reason why we were around each other so much. So yeah, we dated for about 3.5 years in high school, and just after high school ended, I went out for coffee with my best friend, and we sat down with our yearbook and we were just looking through everything, and told her that there was something really important that I needed to talk to her about. So brought out the yearbook and I told her who I had a secret crush on. 3 rows over, one down, and she looked real confused, like, wait a minute, but that's a boy. And that's after a few minutes, she finally figured it out. And ever since then, I pretty much have been out of the closet. So I came out to her first, and then I went to this hospitality and tourism program sponsored through Niagara College. And from there, I actually met three gay guys that were drag performers as well, and it was their braveness and how accepted they were by everyone else that inspired me to finally admit to the world who I was and come out. So, so what I did is I ended up leaving a note for my mom. I left for the program one morning, wrote her like a 2 or 3 page big long note just explaining everything to her. And I was nervous as hell through the entire day. Just a nervous wreck. Everyone was asking me what was wrong. I wouldn't tell anybody. And a friend of mine at the time, Mila, she actually drove me home. And on the way home, I told her what I had done that morning. And it was kind of surreal. She reached over, gave me a great big huge hug, and told me how proud of me she was. And it was my first real moment where I was just kind of felt complete acceptance. And I don't know, it made me feel comfort and it made me feel ease, and it was almost like affirmation that or reconfirmation that I was doing the right thing by finally admitting to the world who I was. So it was definitely something that I struggled with, not for as long as some other people do. Like I said in previous videos, my grandmother and my aunt are both gay, so it's always been in our family. Although I'm the first gay male to come out, it's always pretty much been around our family, so it wasn't a real shock. And of course, once I told my family, their reaction was, "We already knew." The most annoying words you can hear when you come out of the closet. "What took you so long?" "We already knew." "Oh yeah, we knew a long time ago." Like, come on, make me stress out for nothing. So of course, after I came out, I did the whole proud to be me thing. I had pride bracelets. I had a pride sash that I wore. I always carry one of those man bags, and I replaced the black strap with a great big rainbow sash, and had a little white bear with a rainbow ribbon around his neck that I carried everywhere. I was real proud. But my first experience at a gay bar kind of led me in the opposite direction because I was out, I was happy, I was self-accepted. I finally felt that I could love myself. And then I had my first experience at a gay bar, and it pretty much turned that around. Now in Niagara, there's not a big, huge bear community. It's all about the twinks, it's all about the queens, it's all about being the perfect size, the perfect gay. Like, it's it kind of made me feel shitty about myself, to be honest. It actually led into a little bit of depression for a few years, and by the time I was 21, 20, 21, I had actually been depressed for about a year, year and a half, and I had gained a lot of weight. I was up to 335 pounds. And the self-love and the self-acceptance that I had found had pretty much all been washed away from my first experience at a gay bar, and that was very negative for me. I didn't ever want to go through that ever again. So I've never really been huge into the gay scene, into the gay bars. And now, as I'm getting older, that's definitely changing. I've learned that in spite of what other people think, I still love myself. So I've definitely learned a lot over the last 13 years of being out, but every day is a new challenge. You always learn something new, and there's something new that you can learn from every experience. So it's something I try and find. I'm forever an optimist, so I'm always looking for a good lesson or a good goal. That's something to learn from every experience. And so I decided that I wasn't going to hide who I was anymore, and I was going to be fully who I wanted to be. And while I was going through that depression, I learned and grew a lot spiritually. And for a while, I didn't talk to my father for probably almost 15 years. And we've since repaired that relationship. We're talking again, and it's a great relationship. But it was definitely a lot of strain. And when I came out to him, he was very accepting. And that's when I first learned about the Two-Spirit tradition. So it was a good thing. Um, but yeah, definitely something that I want to. Uh, don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say again. So my high school girlfriend at the time, after I came out to her, she'd always had a sneaking suspicion that her father was gay, and we all told her that he was gay. And one day, we had gone out for a ride. Her dad picked us up, and I was, of course, wearing my pride sash, very happy, very proud of who I was. And she turned around and made a comment, "Oh, I love your pride sash." Had snapped around. It was about a week later he came out to her, and it was definitely good for him to do, to finally come out to her, but within the week of me coming out to her, it I think it devastated her for a little bit, because her boyfriend, her high school boyfriend of 3+ years, came out to her, and a week later her father came out to her. So, oh, it just made me feel absolutely awful that she had to go through that sort of experience. But at the same time, I needed to admit I needed to admit who I was to the world and to myself. Otherwise, I wouldn't be so self-accepting and self-loving as I am today. So, other than my initial coming out, I've never really had any truly tough experiences being gay. I've definitely had my moments. I was actually jumped once. I was walking home late at night, and a couple guys walking through a field started yelling, "Hey, faggot, come on over here, faggot!" So I just ignored them and kept on walking, and they booked it across the field. One of them jumped on my back, and just like catcalls, "Hey, faggot, you want to go to the bar? You want to suck my dick? Hey, faggot!" And just like rude, crude, awful people. And at the time, I had long hair, and I wasn't very social. I didn't really want to be around anybody, so I kind of freaked out, told him, "Hey, I'm not a faggot, get off of me," and just kept on walking with the guy physically on my back, and just kept walking like it was nothing. And within moments, he pretty much just jumped off my back, left me alone, and that was that. I didn't get hurt out of the situation, but at the time it was a little scary. I didn't know what was going to happen. Guys could have had knives, they could have bats, like I had no idea. Luckily, it worked out in my favor. Um, but So that was probably one of the worst experiences that I had. But I'm the kind of person, like I said, I'm optimistic, so I try and find a lesson in everything. I try and find the silver lining in everything, and it's helped me stay optimistic. I'm a glass half full kind of guy, so what can I say? Well, that's pretty much it from my personal gay history. Tune in tomorrow for Aaron's video. He'll be discussing his early years, how he came out, what he went through, that sort of thing. Also, we're still continuing the Den Road to 1,000. Now we're getting up there. I believe we're almost at 920 subscribers. So we're getting there. Now, if there's anything that you guys want to see us do, anything crazy, wacky, any ideas you have for us for the Den 1000, definitely let us know. So if there's anything you'd like to see us do on the Den, hit us up, let us know on the link down below, and we'll see what we can do. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.